Most people think eating before bed is bad for blood sugar, but what if the right snacks could actually lower it overnight? Today I'll show you 7 tasty, research-backed nighttime snacks that work with your body while you sleep, so you wake up with steadier glucose and more energy. Chia seed pudding made with unsweetened almond milk is a simple, research-supported option that can fit into a glucose-friendly nighttime routine. Human studies link regular chia consumption to improved satiety and lowered blood pressure in some adults with metabolic concerns, and it may help blunt post-meal glucose rises. Chia seeds have the distinctive ability to absorb many times their weight in liquid, forming a thick, gel-like consistency. This gel can slow carbohydrate digestion and produce a more gradual rise in blood sugar. The soluble fiber content also helps extend the feeling of fullness, so you're less likely to wake up hungry. Because chia seeds expand when hydrated, always soak them before eating and drink water with any high-fiber foods to support comfortable digestion and reduce choking risk. A practical portion is 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds mixed with about half a cup of unsweetened almond milk. Stir well, then refrigerate for several hours or overnight until it thickens. For extra satiety and a small boost in protein, which can also help temper glucose response, consider mixing in a couple of spoonfuls of plain Greek yogurt or a small scoop of unflavored protein powder. For flavor, add a few fresh berries right before serving to provide natural sweetness without a major sugar load. If you prefer something less sweet yet equally nutrient-rich, there's an option that uses creamy texture, healthy fats, and a bright touch of seasoning to support your health goals while keeping glucose steady into the night. Avocado with a touch of lemon and sea salt on a seed cracker is a satisfying choice that can fit well into an evening routine aimed at steady energy. Avocados are naturally low in net carbohydrates and rich in fiber and monounsaturated fats, particularly oleic acid, the same heart-healthy fat found in olive oil. This combination can slow digestion and lead to a more gradual release of glucose into your bloodstream. Observational studies and some intervention research link avocado and other monounsaturated fat-rich foods with improved glucose control or lower diabetes incidence in certain groups, especially those with prediabetes. For a practical portion, try about half an avocado. Mash it with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice and a light sprinkle of sea salt, then spread it evenly over 1 firm seed cracker. The cracker boosts fiber, the lemon brightens the flavor without adding sugar, and the mix of creamy and crunchy textures makes it satisfying without feeling heavy. Preparing it this way is quick, requires minimal cleanup, and can easily become a simple habit before bedtime. While avocados are not a magic bullet for blood sugar, their nutrient profile, healthy fats, soluble and insoluble fiber, and a good range of micronutrients can work alongside the rest of your diet to support satiety and overall cardiometabolic health. The combination might help you feel fuller into the morning and avoid late-night spikes from higher carb foods, but wait until you see the next snack. It's a handful you can keep by the bed that helps your heart and is unlikely to spike your glucose. Walnuts and almonds are 2 nuts worth keeping in your nighttime snack rotation. Both offer a mix of protein, unsaturated fats, and dietary fiber that support gradual nutrient release, which can help you avoid large blood sugar shifts overnight. Randomized trials and meta-analyses consistently find that regular intake of walnuts or almonds improves cardiovascular markers such as reduced LDL cholesterol, higher HDL, and better endothelial function. However, when it comes to direct effects on fasting glucose or A1C, the evidence is more mixed, with some trials showing modest benefits and others showing little change. These heart benefits matter for long-term health and may indirectly support glucose management by keeping your vascular system healthy. For the best balance of nutrients without excess calories, research trials often use a portion of about 1 ounce, roughly 28 grams, or a small handful of plain unsalted nuts. This serving is enough to provide meaningful amounts of protein, fiber, and healthy fats while keeping energy intake in check. A practical approach is to measure the portion in advance and store it in a small container or jar. This makes it easy to grab your snack without overpouring and removes the need for late-night prep. Walnuts and almonds keep well at room temperature in a sealed container, but for a slightly longer shelf life, you can store them in the refrigerator. Beyond their nutrient profile, one of their biggest advantages is satiety. The combination of fat, protein, and fiber helps you feel full longer, which can reduce the urge to snack again later in the night. Fewer impulsive snacks mean fewer opportunities for sudden spikes or dips in glucose from quick, high-carb choices. Coming up, a quick no-mess snack from your fridge that combines dairy protein and nuts for overnight calm. You might already have it. String cheese paired with a few walnuts is a simple combination that delivers protein, healthy fats, and satiety in one quick grab. The protein and fat work together to slow how quickly food leaves your stomach, which can help smooth out the release of glucose into your bloodstream through the night. This steadier release may reduce the chances of sudden drops or spikes while you sleep. Cheese sometimes gets skipped because of its saturated fat content, but in moderate amounts it can fit into a balanced approach to nighttime snacking. If you have high blood pressure or elevated LDL cholesterol, remember that cheese also contains sodium and saturated fat, so it's worth discussing portion sizes with your clinician. A practical serving is 1 stick of low-sodium string cheese paired with about 6 to 8 walnut halves, roughly a quarter ounce. This keeps calories and sodium reasonable while providing a good balance of protein, fiber, and unsaturated fats. The walnuts add crunch, extra healthy fats, and more fiber, which can extend how full you feel until morning. Some observational studies link moderate dairy consumption, especially yogurt, to a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. Cheese shows more mixed results in this area, but in the context of an overall healthy diet, it can still provide useful nutrients like calcium, high-quality protein, and certain fatty acids. This pairing works not just because it limits quick-digesting carbohydrates, but also because it releases energy gradually over several hours. That means you're more likely to wake up with stable energy rather than feeling sluggish or irritable from overnight glucose changes. Portable, low-prep, and satisfying, string cheese with a few walnuts is an option you can keep on hand for nights when convenience matters. If you prefer a plant-based snack that still delivers crunch and supports stable glucose, there's one that mimics the satisfaction of chips without the blood sugar jump. Roasted chickpeas with olive oil and sea salt are an easy way to enjoy a crisp, savory snack while choosing something more balanced than most packaged options. They naturally contain a mix of fiber and plant-based protein, which together help slow digestion so the carbohydrates they contain are absorbed more gradually. This slower release can make it easier for your body to manage blood sugar through the night. Controlled studies have found that when chickpeas replace refined starches like potatoes or white bread, post-meal glucose exposure, measured by incremental area under the curve, is lower. This means they can reduce the immediate glucose impact of a snack compared to high-starch, low-fiber alternatives. While they still contain carbohydrates, the combination of protein, fiber, and a lower glycemic load works in your favor when eaten in sensible portions. At home, making them is straightforward. Use canned or cooked chickpeas, pat them dry, and toss them with a light coating of olive oil and a small pinch of sea salt. Spread them evenly on a baking sheet and roast at about 400 degrees Fahrenheit until crisp, checking after 20 minutes and up to about 30 minutes total. For an evening snack, measure out roughly a quarter cup once roasted. This portion matches what's used in many studies and keeps calories in check. Chickpeas are nutrient-dense, so while they're a healthier choice than refined snacks, oversized servings can add up quickly in calories. Compared to crackers or chips, roasted chickpeas provide a satisfying texture with more staying power, higher fiber content, and no sharp glucose spike. Their satiety value also means you're less likely to get hungry again before morning, which can help reduce late-night grazing on less balanced foods. And there's another option that goes in the opposite direction, an uncooked, crunchy, and creamy pear that's extremely low in carbohydrates and ready in under a minute. Celery sticks with cream cheese or nut butter are a straightforward option that can be ready in moments. Celery is extremely low in carbohydrates, low in calories, and made up mostly of water, so it hydrates you while having almost no glycemic impact on its own. A single large stalk has well under 2 grams of total carbohydrate, most of it from fiber, making it one of the least likely foods to cause a measurable change in blood sugar. On its own, celery won't do much for satiety, which is why pairing it with a source of protein and fat makes it more satisfying. Adding cream cheese, almond butter, or another healthy spread turns it into a low-glycemic, more complete snack that can help you feel full longer. The fat and protein slow digestion and keep the overall sugar load very low. For a practical portion, fill the groove of each celery stick with about 1 tablespoon of almond butter or cream cheese. If you have a nut allergy, sunflower seed butter is a good alternative with a similar texture and nutrient profile. The crunch of fresh celery alongside the creaminess of the filling creates a more enjoyable eating experience than celery alone, and it still requires no cooking, special tools, or lengthy preparation. From a physiological perspective, celery contributes negligible carbohydrate, and the added protein and fat can slow gastric emptying, allowing your body to process the carbohydrates you've eaten earlier in the evening more gradually. If you choose cream cheese, look for lower sodium options and keep portions moderate, especially if you have high blood pressure or are aiming to limit saturated fat. This snack is portable, quick to prepare, and light enough to eat before bed without feeling heavy, yet substantial enough to deter late-night hunger. If you'd rather sip your way to a steadier morning, the next option combines a calming bedtime drink with a magnesium-rich food that research has linked to better insulin sensitivity, and it can be as quick to prepare as brewing a cup of tea. Pairing a warm cup of unsweetened herbal tea with a small handful of pistachios or pumpkin seeds offers both comfort and balanced nutrition in the evening. This simple combination can be an intentional way to wind down while giving your body nutrients that align with steady overnight blood sugar management. Pistachios and pumpkin seeds are concentrated sources of magnesium, a mineral involved in hundreds of processes, including glucose regulation and insulin function. Large observational studies associate higher magnesium intake with a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. In addition, controlled trials have shown that pistachios can blunt the post-meal glucose response when eaten with carbohydrate-containing foods. Alongside these potential benefits, both seeds and nuts provide healthy fats, plant-based protein, and fiber, helping slow the release of glucose from earlier meals. For a practical portion, measure about 1 ounce, roughly a small handful of pistachios or shelled pumpkin seeds. This serving aligns with amounts used in research and delivers meaningful magnesium without excess calories. Pair this with a caffeine-free tea such as chamomile or rooibos. Both are naturally free of stimulants and can be enjoyed without sweeteners. Sip the tea slowly while eating the seeds mindfully to encourage relaxation and a slower pace at the end of your day. The herbal tea itself will not lower blood sugar directly, but it can promote relaxation and support better sleep quality. Since poor sleep is linked with reduced insulin sensitivity and higher fasting glucose, creating habits that improve rest can work alongside dietary choices to support your goals. Think of this as a synergy between nutrition and rest, rather than a single quick-fix solution. And if you really want to take your overnight blood sugar control to the next level, bedtime snacks are only half the story. The other half? 3 specific vitamins, doctor-approved, that can quietly stop spikes while you sleep. Tap the video on screen now to see why doctors are calling them a game changer.